10 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order.
I'll move to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve minutes from previous meeting. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All ayes, motion carries. Any additions or corrections to the agenda?
No. Unless we have some discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll make a motion that we amend the agenda to have a discussion on the urban renewal plan platform between the city of Sac City and Sac County.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded to amend the agenda to include the urban renewal. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All ayes, motion carries.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the amended agenda. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All ayes, motion carries. I think we can discuss your thing and then you guys can go.
Sure.
Ben looked it over and he was satisfied with the wording as far as he was concerned, so I think Rick wants to,
I had said something to Adam privately about the piece about the procurement of the property and how we were going to go about that, and we just need to have a discussion about how everybody thinks we ought to proceed.
And just to reiterate our point on that for the rest of everyone involved, we had added that as an option for you guys to use if you wanted, as basically a tool option. If that's not a tool you even want to have available as part of the package plan, I mean, that's fine with us. We were just simply trying to leave your options open on how you might use TIF money if you wanted to purchase land or do something along those lines. I mean, if you don't want to use it for that type of purpose and you want to make it clear by not including it in the package deal, it's of no bearing to us. We're happy to facilitate a change in language to remove that if you'd like.
And it wasn't, I mean, it's something that we needed to discuss. First, I think it's probably should be included because if it's rural property, we would need to be involved in trying to procure it. We needed to have the discussion as to how we were going to pay for it. The TIF dollar availability is one option. I mean, as these circumstances come up, if it's not a significant land requirement, we may not need to use that.
Of course.
And if it were to be a large one, then we probably would have to. And I guess that was something that wasn't clear to me that we really hadn't directly discussed.
Sure. The way I view anything included in this is this is the encompassing framework of the plan. And that doesn't mean that every tool would be used in every circumstance. Simply that it creates the barrier of where the farthest outreach of the plan could be used. And if you don't include it, the idea is simply it's not on the table as even a discussion item when we go to decide on a particular item. You know, the example I would use is let's say something small, for instance. Let's say you have a old style gas station with just the 2 tanks that wants to put in a gas station up there, and they are coming in and saying, hey, I want to put something out here on the corner. Well, we would, between the two of us, we would still tailor the deal within the framework of what we wanted to offer and what we didn't want to offer. That's never going away as a part of this. But what this urban development area offers is that it first offers more grant opportunities that might help pay for some of those incentives. And the second thing it offers, a major offer it includes, is as an urban development area, it also qualifies if we want to use TIF as an option in one form or another, it's available to us for that purpose. Without the urban development area, both of those opportunities would be lost in any type of negotiation with a potential business. Now, in the case I just gave you, it's a very small gas station. Both the city and the county would probably be amiss to really offer the keys to the kingdom free land, free utilities, major upgrades. I don't think any of us would be on board to provide that type of improvement for a very minor opportunity out there. But for a major opportunity, by leaving the framework large, it allows us the opportunity to go, okay, now Cabela's wants to build up there. Well, Cabela's is going to bring a lot of people here. Maybe we might be willing to sit down and give more to a Cabela's than we would to a small, 2-terminal gas station. And it allows us to work within as long as we're working within the expanded framework of the agreement, we can negotiate the specific details on a opportunity by opportunity basis.
And I would like to just add something too, as mentioned about procurement. When Rick Hunziker from Carroll was outlining this, if you have a procurement or a property either purchased or an option to purchase, it does increase that likelihood that somebody that's looking for something quick to do would have something on hand. We have this, so I would certainly like to, see that be considered.
Well, this, just looking over it, I think I said before, like, I think we feel that you've done an excellent job with the language, and that was one area that we really hadn't discussed at length, and I think we needed to.
And I appreciate your feedback, because through our feedback over the last 2.5 years, you know as well as we do, we modified certain things based on the communication we were hearing from different supervisors. As far as the concern about the city annexing elements of the urban development areas, we tried to make it take the stiffest scenario we could in the agreement so that it would resolve that type of discussion. And then there was concerns about the sunsetting of any type of TIF that might be established as a result of it. We tried to explain in there. Of course, the legislature kind of took care of some of that in the meantime for us. But I appreciate your feedback, because I feel like the one thing we didn't ever want you to do was come into this and feel like that this wasn't a positive benefit for both sides. And I feel through the communication, the changes made, I hope both parties come into this feeling like they've got something out of it that will benefit both parties in our county and large. Because that's really, honestly, I think the thing that is missed in all this, and I talked about it with some other communities, is I would recommend this model to every community in Sac County, so that when opportunities present itself, because let's be all honest, EVAPCO doesn't just benefit one community. The hospital just doesn't benefit one community here. The protein plant in Lytton just doesn't benefit one community. We all benefit either directly or indirectly by those improvements, and so we should do what we can to help in those type of scenarios. And I think I talked with Scott Peterson at Lakeview a year and a half ago about this, and I know he was interested in seeing how this would work forward. So.
Yeah, about a month ago, I contacted a local realtor to get insight on options, for example, and how that might work, and they were going to give it some thought and get back to me, and I haven't really checked back with them. But that's, one tool, or one thing that I'm not sure how we want to proceed with that, but that's, like Bill said, that's a possible tool. It doesn't necessarily cost a lot of money up front. It's just something that's out there, and prospects are coming in, like Chloe brings in a prospect, and they said, well, the county has some type of option or some type of agreement that it might be a start for something.
Well, and I don't know if you guys are like us, but it seems like no matter what major adventure we plan on going on, one of the main questions we start up with up front is how are we going to pay for this? And I think one of the things this plan allows us to do is, as a necessary backup option, I don't think there's anything we're looking at doing within reason that there isn't an option, there would not be an option available to pay for it then. You always have as an option of last resort that if the benefit's great enough, you have the elements of the urban development area to help you make the payments on it. I feel much more comfortable negotiating with a larger business as a result of an urban development area than I would without it. Quite frankly, I don't know how we would do it without it, to be honest. Because to say that if they wanted city water, for us to be able to run city water lines out there, financially, I think I looked into just the cost of running significant utilities out to the new road. You're talking about $2 million in cost. Well, I'm not going to recover enough money unless they're just going to be a bottled water company. I'm probably not going to make enough money off of a business down up there to return the initial investment of that.
And those are all things that have to be weighed on a case-by-case basis.
And that's why we just simply put the framework in place so that we have the options available.
You know, however, just running water and gas out there would not be that expensive. You know, it'd be the sewer that would be the expensive part, so.
And there it goes into the tailoring to a unique opportunity. If you have a business, you know, you may run into a business that doesn't want natural gas, and then why run it out there? It makes no sense. But if you guys are comfortable with the language as we set now, I'll work on final draft documentations. You might notice I didn't include there's like not signature forms and stuff of that nature on here. I'd be happy to work on final draft forms and potentially maybe in January ask the city council to maybe move forward with approving the first steps on our side.
And that's today we didn't have it on our agenda, and we just wanted to include it for some discussion on a couple of the points that we just brought forward today and needed to have that discussion. So moving forward, we will include it on our agenda items.
Sure. I will be happy to contact probably sometime in mid to late January. I'll contact and ask to have it on the agenda, and likely by that time I'll have asked the council to take action to approve it, preliminary approve it, subject to the supervisor's approval sometime early next year.
Did you guys have any other questions about the document? Those are the couple that I had.
Well, I'm pleased. It sounds like we're going to be able to proceed forward. I'm glad to hear this.
You know, is there any one of the three of you that should be a contact person for Adam to contact? You know, we want you to work with us in the development of the document rather than just coming up with one ourselves. You know, we want it to certainly be a collaboration.
I'll be happy to send you copies for you at one of your December meetings.
I guess normally how we do those things is the current chairman
So
is the contact person.
Sometime in December, I'll get you draft copies.
that'd be
So
great.
that you have an opportunity to review them
Yeah.
before we start taking action on them in January.
The composition of the board won't change January 1st. The board chairman will.
Spin the bottle and see who loses.
It's actually worked out. We just kind of we just rotate and take turns.
Well, I enjoy any opportunity I have to come and learn from the supervisors.
We're glad you feel that way. Anytime.
Thank you.
We're just really appreciative of the fact that, you know, we don't want to shove anything down anybody's throat, but we want it to be a symbiotic relationship where both of us benefit.
Oh, yes.
And that, yeah, hopefully this is a framework where that will work.
Yeah, I think it will.
From economic development, you know, that, like Adam pointed out, that this kind of sets a, could be a blueprint that another town, another community might.
Well, you know, our goal is obviously the betterment of Sac City, but the betterment of the county and the region. I mean, you know, that.
Now, that point of the current larger employers that we have, it's very common for people to drive at least from 25 miles. They come from all the communities, and regardless of which one you might talk about, it really does.
Well, thank you for your time today.
You bet. Thank you guys.
I would tell you that I hope the rest of your meeting is as good as this one, but I can already see that's not going to be the same. Oh man, I knew it.
He just couldn't get out the door without one vote.
Here's a copy of the application of the city square, just for you guys if you want one.
All right, thank you very much.
Just,
Thank you.
well, it's set for final review on the 13th of February.
Oh, is that right?
Have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Have a good Thanksgiving,
You
guys.
too.
Mm-hmm.
He almost made it out the door, Ken, without.
Are you here for security?
Yeah, I wanted to.
That's fine. You can come forward.
I put that on the agenda again today. We talked about it last week a little bit. I haven't had a chance to talk to anybody else. I don't know that the sheriff has.
Could I step back for a second? Chloe, did you have any input or any comments on this arrangement at all?
No, my biggest thing is just don't restrict it to one industry, of course, because then that sets up more obstacles. And then is it in there to start right away?
Yeah, I mean, it would be,
Okay.
the enactment would be part of the document. Whenever it's signed, it would be available.
Available,
Be an
okay.
effect.
Whenever it's approved and signed.
Alright, and I was gonna ask Adam those two questions, so. Okay, nope, that worked out then.
Sorry, I thought you were just.
Yeah,
I didn't think of it until later.
you're okay.
Sorry for the interruption, Sheriff.
That's okay. I just saw that courthouse security issues were on the agenda again, so I thought I'd bring it up.
We talked about it last week and just talked about some of the history of, and some of the things around the courtroom and district court. So,
After thinking about that a bit, we had discussed about putting that wall to, both for the clerk of court office and then a small section of wall to keep them out of the
Yeah.
judges' chambers and things. Did you have anything else come to mind?
Other than making that east door an emergency exit door only. You know, to me, honestly, the big issue is, you know, you have nobody that has direct vision of that door. And those of you who've come in that know that all you gotta do is come in that door and make an immediate right, and you have access to the courtroom, you have access to the jury room, you have access to the judges' chambers, you know, and if we can secure that door and make an emergency exit only, that prevents people from coming in that door. And, you know, and the other thing, in the event of a bigger trial, we would be able to put up our metal detector there without worrying about people coming in behind us, and we could funnel people through one direction instead of multiple directions. You know, and I guess I'd like to see that done as soon as we can get that done and get a start on that. It's, you know, it's a step in the right direction.
Jim, on the wall discussion, did you indicate that you had somebody
We had
looking
two
at?
people that were gonna submit a proposal for that. One of them has declined,
Okay.
so we're still waiting for the other one.
what about cameras or, you know, a camera or, you know, it's cameras, you know, they can be operational 24/7 or they don't, I mean,
We
you know,
have.
like people look up and they see a camera, you know, it might be working, it might not be.
I would have to go back and check, Dean, but I think that cameras would be a great asset to courthouse security. I think that once we get a courthouse security committee formed, you know, that can be one of the recommendations. The other issue is that I believe that we have enough space on our DVR that's in the comm center, and we have access underground that, you know, if and when we came to that, or putting cameras in certain spots, they could be all funneled into the communication center, into that DVR there,
That'd be good.
versus,
Well, yeah, and cameras
You
are
know.
a good tool. You know, you never think about it, but then, you know, you're trying to solve a crime and
Yeah.
then law enforcement or the detectives,
you know,
whether it be, you know, like a convenience store or,
mhm.
I don't know, you know, and the
It is-
cost is, you know, maybe some of that cost, some of that could be offset you know, from a grant or, you know, I'm sure everybody in Iowa, you know, at ISAC, there's, you know, sessions on courthouse security after the attempted shooting in Franklin County.
You know, we had talked about one time about putting one camera up in the district courtroom or 2 cameras in the district courtroom with audio, and then the issue became, you know, closed hearings, those types of things. And then we had some judges who, well, we didn't really want a camera looking at us, you know, and we gotta be careful on where it views like the jury, you can't always have the jury, you know, and so.
I guess my first thoughts would be in the news section, and then maybe possibly somewhere in the older part of the building on the first floor.
Right,
Yeah. The courtroom thing, I mean, I would have the same concerns that you
You know,
just
and-
mentioned.
the cameras are just what you say, they're a collection of evidence. They're gonna show what events took place and what happened, and, you know, sometimes they're preventative, but for the most part, they're a tool.
But, so,
Yeah,
just
you're right,
in,
I mean, sometimes somebody's so off whack,
Yeah,
they're not thinking
It's-
rational, they might even, you know, be the point that they don't plan on getting out of this situation.
exactly.
On the other hand, you know, if part of the function of that camera is a deterrent, you know, I think that's something we definitely need to look at.
Yeah.
would you think it's necessary to have much more than the one in the main entrance in the clerk of court area and then the lower floor, or how?
Well, I think eventually, I don't think you're gonna go wrong doing the entire building. I don't think you have to do it all at one time, but I think that would be a good start,
Okay.
you know.
Well, for example, up here, you know, we've taken some security measures and, but, you know, that's an area of concern, the clientele that's,
Yeah,
associated with the district attorney, or the county attorney's offices.
you know, even up here at the magistrate court, you know, having one up in these hallways,
Yeah.
you know, just for that reason.
Is that, would that be any violation, I mean, as
All
far as?
privacy?
Yeah, I mean, we, like, for the magistrate court up here, it's not uncommon when we've been up here on court days, that they would be having discussions with their client, and that really shouldn't be filmed.
Well, you know, here's the other issue is, you have no expectation of privacy in public. You're in a public building, we're not tape recording their conversation, we're simply tape recording the movement of the building.
Well, but I have that concern, I mean.
Yeah, you know, we have that concern in the jail, but,
You have no voice recording in jail, do you?
well, yeah, we do in our interview rooms.
Yeah, but I'm
But
not,
in the jail, yeah, we have no audio, so if an attorney wants to talk to their client, they can go in a holding cell with them.
I see.
But that's still videotaped, there's no audio.
Kurt,
I was just gonna say, I'm under the understanding that any public area in a courthouse can be filmed freely as long as it's not in the courtroom.
okay. I didn't have that knowledge, it was a concern that I had, I didn't know the
Yeah, I could
answer
just
to.
hang out all day with a video camera if I wanted filming everything that goes on in the halls.
Okay,
I thought I
okay.
could get away with it.
I didn't have the answer to that, so.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think that's a long-term goal, but I would definitely think that cameras around the district courtroom, and maybe even the magistrate courtroom would be probably on the top of the priority list for security reasons. And again, it's evidentiary versus deterrent most of the time, but. so.
Well, and so how much on your machine and the communication center, how much space? do you have?
I think we have, I think we maybe have 8 slots left. I think we have a 16 channel DVR. And I think, you know, again, I'd have to go down and look and count. But, you know, I know we have conduit between the 2 buildings. That's where all of our phone lines and stuff run is through there.
Okay, well,
So,
that's
I
good to
mean,
know.
you know, short of setting up a new DVR in our office or the clerk's office and rerunning everything locally, and maybe that would be cheaper, you know, I don't know what it would cost to run the cable, but, you know, that's something I would think the courthouse security team could look at.
So then, I guess, as I think this through, we'll get our security committee started, they need to make some recommendations, and then maybe a prioritization by the committee and then a prioritization by us after that recommendation,
Yeah.
would be the right way.
Yeah, you know, I don't think there's anything that's gonna happen tomorrow by any means, but it's a marathon, you know. It's gonna take some time, you know, maybe even tour some of the other facilities that have some security and see what they're doing and what it looks like, and see what will work for us and what doesn't.
So from your personal perspective, just, and I know you haven't had time to think this through, but in prioritization, what, in your opinion, what would you start with? Would you start with the wall downstairs? Would you start with the enclosure of the clerk's office or the camera discussion? How would you prioritize those?
I think my first priority would be putting that doorway to keep people back from the judge's chamber and securing the courtroom.
Okay.
I think would be my first priority. You know, I
And
think-
that emergency exit.
Yeah, and I think,
That would be, no, really, very little.
The only
cost.
thing that's gonna take is just a little education. I mean, to the general public and the employees that use that door. We've talked about that some, and, you know, if we get it to the point where the board agrees to do that, we can put out a memo to everybody, plus
Right.
ads in the local paper and that type of thing, but in addition to that, we can put a barricade at the bottom of those stairs to kind of reroute that traffic temporarily.
They'll be part of the learning process.
Yes.
I think eventually what you're gonna see in talking with our clerk of court is you're gonna see some mandates come down from the state that a lot of these things are gonna need to be done based on the couple incidents that have happened in Iowa, and actually nationwide, that they're gonna want the judges secured, and away from public contact, and, you know, all you gotta do is go down there and sit down there on a Wednesday or a Monday, and, you know, the court reporter is right there, and he or she can see everything that's happening, and people can see them. You can hear conversations setting up in the lobby, and, you know, and quite often, people just get up and walk in and start talking to them, you know, which isn't good, but. So.
Yeah.
I think those are all reasonable things that we can do, and it's just a matter of,
We'll have to wait till we get a bid from,
Yeah, but if you want to, you know, if you want to start the process on that exit door over there now, all we need to do is just a resolution from the board to beginning January 1st or some such a matter.
Yeah.
I think that's,
I'll make a motion to that effect that, for security reasons, we're gonna close that entrance to the courthouse and change it to an emergency exit only, effective January 1st.
I'll second that motion.
motion's been made and seconded to make the east entrance emergency exit only. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Stock, aye.
Heck, aye.
Drake, aye.
And as far as those other two things, Jim, I think we have consensus to move forward with those. It's just a matter of getting the information and the financial consequences of both those, both for the judges' chambers and something over the clerk.
And that, you know, I don't think, you know, taking that action is gonna bother the security committee. We're just getting started, and I don't see that as a problem, do you?
No. And there may be other things that.
I mean, we're kinda getting started before they meet and discuss things,
Yeah.
but I think it's the way, you know, it tells that committee that we're mindful of it and we're
Well,
taking action.
and by the same token, the board's probably not gonna agree with everything the emergency, or the security
Yeah.
committee brings to you anyway, so. That's,
Those are important things that we can do that should be done that won't have a terrible financial consequence that
Right.
we can.
Yeah, you know, especially when you got just another, I mean, all you gotta do is just walk around the corner and you got another entrance, you know, so.
Well, and
It's not like
even,
you're making people walk clear around the building.
We've got two nice, the one over here is handicap accessible, it's close to the elevator for handicapped people and the other, gets you, yeah.
Well, it leaves us with 2 handicap accessible and 1 non-handicap accessible,
I'm sure that.
which doesn't really compromise anything because that one's not handicap accessible anyway, so.
And like you pointed out at last week's meeting, from a liability standpoint, that entrance has a lot of problems with people slipping and, so we're really achieving, a couple things with that action. And the staff, Mark, and, that's a problem for them.
Okay. Anything else on that?
So,
Alright.
Thanks, Ken.
Been a lot of activity for you guys.
You know, we just got barely in the last week. We're still trying to, been busy.
got a compliment from an oldie bolt on what happened out at the property east of town.
Trains, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that worked out good, so.
It's nice, it's always nice that we catch somebody.
Yes,
Sometimes, we've got a huge county to keep an eye on at night or in the daytime, and it's not always easy to catch people involved.
Right place, right time, and good cooperation, so that's what that's all about.
So that was a compliment.
Alright, you guys have a
Thanks,
nice
Ken.
Thanksgiving.
Thanks,
You too.
The clerk of court brought to my attention the fact that January 1st begins a new 6-year term for the magistrate appointing committee, and this board is responsible for 3 appointees to that commission.
How many are there? And you said we're responsible for 3.
6, and you're responsible for 3.
And who's currently serving?
Paul Alish, Neil Steinkamp, and Mike Ulrich. So before January 1st, you guys will have to contact them to see that they're agreeable to another term.
I'll contact Neil.
I'll contact Mike.
Who are the 3?
Paul Alish, Neil Steinkamp, Mike Ulrich.
Mike Ulrich.
From Odie Volt, that one?
It's
Yeah.
668, yeah.
Yep, yep, I'll call him.
I can call Paul and Neil.
You're familiar with it? Okay. Okay.
That's a 6-year term.
And their responsibility is the appointment of the magistrate?
Yes. Yep. This is just a housekeeping, that's the results of the auction that we held a couple of weeks
Oh,
ago.
good.
Some of that money went to case management in the general fund, some of it went to the general fund, and some of it went to the sheriff's secret investigations.
Speaking of housekeeping, we got, we received letters from Elderbridge, and they're not going to, as I took it from the letter, they're not gonna come in and visit
Unless you
with
want
us.
them to.
Yeah. Well, either way, but I just wondered if we need to take action in the minutes that we approve our allocation, that we, or your, and at least honor, I don't know if their request was,
Normally what we do is put it in the book with the rest of the stuff, and as we build the budget,
okay.
we build it into that. And
I
think
have
they asked
not
for a
read
one.
that yet. What, is there asking the same, or did they
It's
change
up
it?
1.9 or something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
almost 2% in, which is, I don't know if that's the beginning of, budget time, what the cost of living and,
Total, just approximately what was it?
I don't think they gave us a number, but I think last year was like 6 or 7.
Yeah, I was thinking 7. It's right at $7,000.
Yeah.
We'll do this next week for appointing them commissioners if they all agree
Okay.
to it. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, sometime before January 1st.
Okay, yep.
We are requesting you vote and pass the continued support in the amount of $8,101.50.
Um, The first meeting, the first business day of the new year is a required board meeting day. That's January 2nd, on a Friday. So, do you wanna have a meeting on the 30th and a meeting on the 2nd, or do you wanna just skip the one on the 30th and go to the 2nd? Last year, we did it on the 31st of December because it happened that it worked out that way. But this way it goes from up to the 6th. So.
Doesn't matter to me.
I think the 2nd makes sense. I mean, that's, do we need to do the 30th and the 2nd? I don't believe so.
There won't be,
Claims.
there won't be any claims or anything that day. So you'll have one on the 2nd and then again on the 6th,
Yeah.
but you won't have one on the 30th.
That's what I would.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Our contribution to them was $7,954,
Okay.
and they're requesting 81.
Do we have to act on this, or we just put it in the budget?
8,101.
If I could have one of those. Sure you wanna give that up to-
56. So it's $157 roughly increase is what they're asking for.
We'll go into recess.
Oh, before you go into recess,
Just a minute.
these are, these came from, Eric Younginger.
Young.
These are the, construction, permits across 196 for next year. And there's 5, should you approve them all, there's 5 signatures right now.
Okay.
Does this go through the county engineer?
No, this is our drainage stuff.
Oh, okay.
For the reconstruction. I bumped into him last night at a function, Eric, and they got that riprap delivered and placed on the bottom of 86. You know, that one that we cleaned out this year. I saw the cement was there this past week, and then they got it placed sometime last week.
For now, this is a quick claim deed from a tax sale that was Vicky's approved. That's from the attorney. Read that if you want.
I assume that we can do these all together, or do you want them individual? I mean, it's just for one function.
Yeah. Let's do them all at once, then, sir. This will be on the claims next time, but I need to get that paid before the first. It's the interest on our debt service.
We're getting close to the end of that, aren't we?
Yeah, the balance is 83,000 or something like that.
So that's 2 payments then?
Depending on what's in the fund balance, we could maintain our regular debt service levy and add the fund balance to that. We could. Actually, we wouldn't even double our debt service levy if we levied for the whole thing. I mean, historically, we've been levying for $55,000.
Right.
So, and that's like 3 cents per thousand or something. It's not even that. So I think,
Well,
I mean, if you want to pay it off early, that's,
we can, I guess just look at it at that time,
yeah.
if we,
And, you know, when we get to that point, we'll know what the fund balance is.
What was this note for?
building the communications onto the sheriff's office. When we did that, Rennell, I was certainly against doing any kind of building that we couldn't pay for at the time, and then after we did the investigation, it was pointed out to us that with the debt fund service levy, there were no exclusions, so anybody that had any kind of TIF arrangement or special arrangement would still help pay for this. So I certainly changed my mind at that time.
Yeah.
So we did then proceed to borrow about $500,000 when we did this building. So rather than just use general fund money with those exclusions, we did our debt
That way
service
everybody
levy.
pays it.
Yeah. So everybody's using it, so everybody should pay for it. So that's approaching 8 years ago,
Yeah.
already 9.
Yeah, we're sliding right along here.
We had our governance board meeting last week, and Cherokee has been released from all obligations to their Sioux Rivers connection, and so they'll be joining us 1st of January.
You guys are in recess.
Yeah, we kinda are. We'll wait till Dee gets back, so.
Okay.
We have to approve this one.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I see on December 10th is League of Cities meeting. And last year we had that in Linton for that Christmas.
Oh yeah,
So that this year should be the same situation, shouldn't it? That we have that drawing or
usually
auction
no.
for
I
the-
think they normally do that.
yeah.
But last month we were gone to our ISAC meeting, so
Yeah.
I don't know what they decided.
Maybe I should call somebody to make sure we're.
We should have asked
Chloe,
Chloe, she would have
yeah.
known. Yeah, normally the chairman arranges something.
A basket. I can call Chloe too,
Okay.
and I'll make sure that I have something lined up. It's at Brian's, I think, in Lakeview.
Oh, is that where it's at? Do you know where Dean stepped out to?
Oh.
He's downstairs. He'll be right back.
While you were gone, Jim, I said, we had our governance board meeting for our mental health, committee, and Cherokee has received their notice of release of all obligations, to go see, Valley
Okay.
arrangement, and they'll be joining us January 1st.
Ron?
Alright.
Morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He's not here?
He stepped out for a second.
Oh, okay.
He'll be right back. I'll make the motion for the application for approval of construction across Sac County drainage districts for Frontier Communications. Drainage District 181, Drainage District 73, Drainage District 39 tile, Drainage District 15 main tile, and Drainage District 15 branch tile.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made for the drainage district's construction. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, all ayes, motion carries. Dean, can we have my ink pen back? That one right there.
Did I pass it? I'm sorry. Want that back.
Those are your,
These are the originals?
Yep.
You're a local history buff, aren't you?
Where'd you find that?
Oh, a friend of mine. Figured that was something I thought you might know.
Ready?
Yep.
County crews, blading areas of gravel roads where manure applicators are working, trying to smooth down the washboard areas, plowing and sanding paved roads as needed, checking out several road culvert repair issues, doing scheduled maintenance on excavator and dozer, replenishing ice control sand stockpiles. Project status, the white topping project, contractor finished painting center line on Saturday and removed the barricades on the side roads. Detour signs were removed yesterday, so project should be complete. Long time coming, but finally got it done.
Amen.
Your phone will ring a lot less.
Yes,
Well, we were sure questioning whether we were gonna get enough warm weather to get it painted, and
So I feel like you got a good job.
oh, when you start painting this time of year, it isn't gonna stick near as good, but you know, the temperature was warm and it warmed up. Actually, during the day, it kept getting warmer, so they had to wait a little while in the morning to get the moisture to burn off the pavement so they could get started. And just like we suspected, he was on his, as soon as he got done here, he was on his way to do some work up by Sioux City, so there had apparently several things they needed to try to get done. So. Item 3 there, have the resolution to vacate 280th Street. Basically the same description as what was used in all the other publications. There's no objections received either in writing or by persons present at the hearing. And we note that the utility companies retain the right to continue in possession of a right-of-way after vacation. And Glenn Girls had expressed an interest in buying the bridge, so I just described the bridge there and pointed out that it had been closed in 2007 due to inadequate load carrying capacity and has not been maintained by us since then. And the present load carrying capacity had not been determined. Shrum and Ash Incorporated had signed an easement to provide right of ingress and egress to the bridge located on 280th Street and DD 71 to Bridge to Nowhere LLC. And the county will assist the landowners in leveling the right of way for cultivation. And I see Jim, I assume Colin or his office dropped off the copies. Did you guys not see his? After last week, they did take them back and change a little bit of that wording, which I thought made it easier to read.
I'll make the motion to approve the resolution to vacate the county road and include the sale of the bridge to Lindorf.
Bridge to Nowhere LLC.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bridge to Nowhere LLC.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve, or make the resolution to vacate the county road and sell the bridge to Nowhere. All in favor, say aye.
Heck, aye.
Stock, aye.
Drake, aye. All ayes, motion carries.
I guess I did send this to Ben, and I had, along with the two agreement and easement, I didn't hear back from him, but
Which, do you want need two of these signed?
yeah, I probably signed two, one for your record and one for ours.
You have 2 copies though.
Yep.
Okay.
And then, I guess I only got one original on the sale of the bridge.
Do you want two of these signed?
I guess it wouldn't hurt. I guess I'll check with the recorder's office, but I don't know, will she let me record those with this document? I guess to me they should be recorded, and I just
Never asked her, I don't know.
I just want to make sure the recorded is not. So,
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
I mean, I forgot to do that.
From the records, I'm not, no longer.
I don't know, do you want a copy of that for your file?
Yeah.
Do you want one of these? Oh, here, I'll give you one of them. I don't need two.
Okay.
But I'll record that, and I'll record I got the original on the agreement and original on the easement here, so. I guess that's basically it. I did contact DOT about the light north of town here, and I set a new flag out there where I would like to see it. I'm trying to get clearance through the district office that once we're outside the right of way, it is we don't need a DOT permit, we can put it where we want, so. And I need to get hold of REC again, they still haven't given us the final information as far as what it's gonna cost, but Mitch is saying we'd buy the light for $250, we'd have to buy a pole, and then there'd be from what he's told me, a $16 a month maintenance fee plus whatever electrical usage number they come up with, which I would guess would be, for an LED light like that, should be less than $10 a month, so I'm guessing we'll have a recurring cost of about $25 to $30 a month, but
Did you have any success on the
solar.
solar?
I called the guy from from Storm Lake that I talked to a month ago, and he says it's still on his list to do. He hadn't heard anything back from his supplier, so he was going to call his supplier. I did get a name for another company that might be able to do something solar too, and I need to.
And that was in Alta.
Yeah,
That's
I haven't got a hold of them
okay.
yet.
'Cause I did visit with them.
What did you?
Went to the farm show this year at Boone, and my son and his boss have been investigating solar panel stuff and considering doing some work that way. And
The name I was given was Rob Hawks.
I remember the entity as being from Alta.
Okay.
And they're doing, the crux of their business is solar panels for, like 50 kilowatt operation for farm
Yeah.
use. And so they're getting a pretty good footprint, I think. And so it would be a good one to contact. I'm not real sure that might not be your best contact.
Yeah, because the guy in Storm Lake is more a sign person, and they're using the solar to light the signs.
And
but-
this is their business for farm operation and at least 50 kilowatt operation. So I think that might be a good contact.
And I know on the website, when I looked at the website, most of the information on the website dealt with wind generation. So they must sell wind turbines.
They do both.
Too. So,
Yeah.
but hopefully here in the next week we'll get an answer on this one north of town.
Okay. Thank you, Ron.
Yep.
Thanks, Ron. I see that Shaler voted to join the Iowa Pride.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so
So do they have all of them?
yeah, they do have all
Well,
everybody.
yeah, the steering committee, which I'm gonna be part of, and I think the 9 communities are in the process of selecting their representative
Oh.
on that committee, and, I'm not sure we're gonna meet, might postpone meeting until January rather than try and get started in the next couple of weeks. So, yeah, I think it's moving forward.
You wouldn't have Chloe's phone number, would you?
Yeah, I might be able to find it.
Okay, because I'm gonna call her to see, because December 10th is that League of Cities meeting. And if it's the Christmas one where we're gonna have the basket and stuff, I'll get that lined up.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. So, yeah, Rick and I'll split that.
Yeah, you did that at Wall Lake grocery store, didn't you? Have that
Yeah.
me?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we did a basket, but you can do, you know,
Do it at most anything.
up here, you know, the grocery store here in Sac does them, and so.
Okay.
Any other business?
I don't have any.
I would make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, all ayes, motion carries.